At the end of 2022, the U.S. Air Force unveiled its latest efforts to reinforce its nuclear fleet. The result was the impressive reveal of the B-21 Raider. This brand new stealth bomber was being shown off to the media for the first time and was a reminder to countries that were thinking of threatening the U.S. to think again. The B-21 was built upon the success of one of the original stealth bombers, the B-2 Spirit. In this video, we're going to remind ourselves of the bomber that the B-21 Raider is based on, then take a detailed look at what makes this new plane so special. The predecessor to the Raider, the B-2 Spirit, was introduced into service in 1997. This was 14 years later than the Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk stealth equivalent, but the plans for such a revolutionary aircraft were in the works for decades. The ideas that led to the Spirit were first engineered by pioneer Jack Northrop. This design was known as Flying Wing and was first seen in 1949, but was not picked up by the U.S. Air Force until decades later. The appetite for a stealth fighter in the mid-70s from the government started an engineering race in the U.S., and Northrop's design won the primary contract. After redesigns, it made its first flight in 1989, and now it is estimated that $23 billion has been spent on the project. The B-2 is a versatile bomber that can deliver conventional and nuclear munitions. The bomber was a huge leap in attacking areas that before seemed off-limits due to the hostile territory. The mix of low observable technologies with state-of-the-art aerodynamics and the ability to carry a large payload gave the bomber significant advantages over planes that were already around. Its low observability means that even at high altitude, the plane's movement has more freedom, and this increased its range and viewpoint for the plane's sensors. To do all this is not an easy feat, but Northrop managed to pull it off by kitting the B-2 out with 4 General Electric F-118 GE100 turbofans, with each one delivering a massive 17,300 pounds of thrust. 2 pilots could take on missions that could stretch to 6,000 nautical miles without refueling, and 10,000 nautical miles if there's a stop for fuel. The aircraft has a maximum takeoff weight of 336,500 pounds, and its impressive wingspan is 172 feet. Other key measurements of the bomber are that it has a length of 69 feet, but a height of only 17 feet, which gives it its iconic sleek look. It can stay in combat up to 50,000 feet and travel at a high subsonic speed of 630 miles per hour, which represents Mach 0.95. The first ever incarnation of the aircraft, Spirit of Missouri, was delivered to Whiteman Air Force Base in December 1993. Its first test would be the Kosovo War to see the B-2's combat effectiveness in Operation Allied Force. It reportedly destroyed an impressive 33% of all Serbian targets during combat. After Kosovo, the B-2 was key in Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom. It flew from Whiteman to the battle zone and back in one of its longest missions. The Spirit was asked to complete its first combat deployment during the Iraq War of the early 2000s. It flew 22 sorties from a forward operating location, and also 27 sorties from the B-2's base in Missouri. It also released more than 1.5 million pounds of munitions during that operation. In October 2001, a record was broken by the B-2 when it flew for 44 hours to drop the first bombs in Afghanistan after the attacks of September 11th. The B-21 Raider has been introduced to replace the Spirit once the fleet is due to be decommissioned in 2032. Its name is to honor those who took part in a 1942 mission deemed to be impossible. 80 volunteers, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle, launched 16 B-25s from the deck of the USS Hornet, even though the plane hadn't been designed to take off from that kind of vessel. The raid was a key milestone in U.S. military innovation. Because of this, the company behind the new Raider, Northrop Grumman, decided to name its B-21 after these heroes. It's been a relatively short turnaround from contract award to debut for the B-21, much shorter than the B-2. It took only 7 years. As expected, the project has been anything but cheap. Reports have suggested that the project will cost $203 billion over 30 years, with each unit costing almost $700 million. It's hoped that around 100 units will be produced overall. This was the original aspiration for the fleet of B-2s, but this was cut short to 21 due to budget cuts. The Raider uses 2 Pratt & Whitney F-135 afterburning turbofan engines as seen in the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II jet. These help deliver a max takeoff weight of 374,786 pounds. This is much more than the 336,500 pounds seen on the B-2. Northrop have also managed to shave some of the height off the B-2, as it stands at 16.4 feet in comparison to 17 feet. But other measurements actually come in as shorter than Northrop's original plane. The wingspan is 164 feet, which is 8 feet shorter than the previous model. It's 65 feet long, which is 4 feet shorter than the B-2. Like the Spirit, the B-21 will still feature 2 pilots, and it will also have a similar top speed of 621 miles per hour. Although the new aircraft might appear to be downgraded in terms of size, its interior design is what's important for modern warfare. The engineers have had the luxury of decades worth of B-2 observation and have now made a technological leap to make the Raider the stealthiest plane in the sky. The design of the exterior also helps with this, as the B-21's jet inlets are more flush with the body of the plane, as well as the less pronounced nose. Another significant improvement that is thought to have been made on the B-21 is with its RAM coating. This is the material that absorbs radar waves to minimize detection. Throughout its lifespan, the B-2 has received upgrades to this, which has required lots of manual work and cost. It's not been disclosed, but it's thought that the B-21's RAM coating will be much improved as standard. But one of the most significant changes is the ability to future-proof the aircraft. The hope is that this will keep the airplane in operation for decades. The B-2's original hardware from the 80s is probably found in most people's pockets now. This explains why on the B-21, the hardware and software have been detached so that any new technology could be incorporated. This avoids any need to completely gut out the bomber's computer when a new advancement comes along. Instead, a simple upgrade can be made. There is no doubt that Northrop Grumman have made significant upgrades to their stealth offering. On the surface, it could be seen that the B-21 Raider is the B-2's little brother, but in fact, the new bomber is a significant technological advancement in modern warfare. What do you think of the B-21 Raider? Let us know in the comments, and please like this video if you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.